It's way too early to look at this. I'll probably even put that in the title. But you know what's funny? It kind of sort of isn't. So, let's take a look at the standings where they were last year on this date. So at the end of October 13th. So for the 6 teams playing tonight, well, we'll see whether or not you guys match what you did last year. But here's some interesting things about this. Toronto was 5-1 on October 13th of last year. Boston was 4-1. So Boston's record looks eerily similar. And this is why when people say, well, you know, a fast start doesn't really mean anything. Right. When you look at the fast starts, playoffs. Carolina made the playoffs. They had a 4-0-1 start. The 4-1 start for Nashville. They made the playoffs. The Ducks were 3-1-1. They did not make the playoffs. So there's an X there. Colorado 3-1-1. They made it. Dallas was 3-1. They made it. Who else could be qualified as a fast starter? Yeah, that's about it. But you see, out of the ones that had a pretty solid record early in the year, almost every one of them made the playoffs. Now, for the teams that were winless, there's only 2, and that's Detroit down here, no playoffs for them, and Florida, no playoffs for them. So isn't that weird? That we can, even we'll say, oh, well, it's early. And New Jersey had only played 2 games because of the Global Series, and of course, they won those games, but that squash schedule made me nervous back then and now. Of course, St. Louis, you have to mention, because every single time a team is off to a slow start, we'll talk about St. Louis. Here's the problem. St. Louis at this point last year was 1-1-2, so not a tremendous start. On December 5th, they were 9-13-4, so they'd won 9 out of 26 games. January 5th, and we always hear about, January. Remember where they were in January? Yeah, they'd already started turning it around. They were 16-19-4, so they were 7-6 during the month between December 5th and January 5th. And after January 5th, they were a plus 500 team. They went on that 11-game winning streak not long after that. So this is a misnomer. This is something that I really don't want to have anything to do with because really, in all honesty, St. Louis was not a bad team. I remember doing the reviews every day in December and January and saying, it's a shame these guys can't go on a hot streak. They keep win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And if they keep doing that, they'll miss the playoffs. Rangers were 1-4 to start the year last year. They missed the playoffs. Arizona was 1-3. They missed the playoffs. Vegas was 2-4. They made the playoffs despite that slow start. So Vegas is 3-2 if they drop to 3-3 tonight. And if people feel like, oh no, remember, they were 2-4. And if you want to go the other way, if you can't stand Vegas and I can't wait until they fall apart, early starts don't necessarily mean a whole lot with Vegas. The Kings were 2-2-1, San Jose 2-2-1. So these results don't really tell you a whole lot. Chicago was unbeaten in regulation, and I remember that being a major talking point with Chicago fans at the time, and my point being they're not winning in regulation either. So they were 3-0-2, but almost everything was an overtime or a shootout style game. So I thought the record kind of flattered them a little bit. And of course, they then ended up missing the playoffs. The Jets 2-2. Trying to think if there's anything else I could point out. The Islanders were 2-2, and there wasn't any talk about how great they were without Tavares yet. Pittsburgh's 2-1-1. Columbus 3-2. Of course, Columbus is off to a slower start this year. Buffalo's 3-2 is not the same as their 4-0-1 this year. They're 4-0-1 right here. 4-0-1 for Carolina, 4-1 for Nashville. That would lead you to think, you know what, Buffalo could make the playoffs. So again, people are going to say it's early, it's too early to say anything, it's too early. It's early, it's early. We went through this last year too. It's part of the reason why I trucked this out. Because last year we had the discussion where people were like, yeah, it's early. Don't talk about it like these games matter yet. Talk to me in March. Talk to me in April. Okay, but the points you're losing here if you're the Rangers, the point you're losing here if you're the Red Wings last October are still points you don't have once you get to March and April. These are still points you have to make up. And I will not do this every day, obviously. But every now and then, we can take a look and see where things stood on this date last year And I think that's kind of a fun thing to look at. But again, whenever you hear somebody mention the St. Louis thing, it'd be awesome if people pointed out, hey, they started turning it around after December. Yeah, they may have been last overall in January, but they had already started playing better, and they'd already started getting closer to 500, and that was right before they went on that 11-game winning streak. So, yeah, it was a tough season for St. Louis to start with, but once Berube took over and put his systems into place, things got better. It took a while to see those results, but once they started getting them consistently, they were pretty good. So there you go. I just wanted to throw this out there as kind of a fun thing to do today. Let me know what you guys think, and which team you think could be the surprise team. Remember, Carolina wasn't supposed to be here. They were 4-0-1. Buffalo is doing right now what Carolina did last year. Nashville was kind of expected. Colorado was a bit of a surprise at 3-1-1. And Dallas at 3-1 was surprising to me. This year they're 1-4-1 at this time, which puts them down in the same range as like what the New York Rangers did to start last year, and they didn't make the playoffs. So, again, is it early? Absolutely. Is it fun to look at? Yep. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And can Buffalo be the new Carolina is, I guess, what I'm asking. And with Edmonton, they don't really have a team in the West to compare themselves to, because there wasn't really a huge surprise great start. The Ducks, remember, weren't a bad team in 2017-2018, so the idea of them being off to a good start in 2018-2019 wasn't a huge surprise. That nosedive they took and how long it took for them to get rid of Randy Carlyle was the bigger story. So there you go. Just a fun thing to look at. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. All that other wonderful stuff. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon.